Hey, everybody, welcome to the Wedding Reporter podcast. I'm so excited for this next couple that we have on the show. This is Brooke and Brian. They just got married, and I'll just go ahead and read their bio. So, Brooke Hyland is a content creator, and she is best known from the show Dance Moms. And Brian Thalman is her husband, and he works in logistics. They both live in Pittsburgh and they have a cute dog named Jack. So, welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you. We're excited to be here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I saw your wedding. It looked so gorgeous. You guys just got married in February, right?
Yes, we're like coming up on 6 months, which is
Oh
crazy.
my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, time flies.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I mean, everything looks so beautiful, and we'll definitely dive into that. But usually, what I like to do with couples is start from the very beginning. So, how did you guys even meet to begin with?
So we actually met through my cousin who happened to be best friends with him. I was home for the holidays. I was living in Austin, Texas at the time, and he kind of just set us up and we met out in Pittsburgh and hit it off, and now here we are.
Yeah, we did long distance for, I call it like 6 months. And that summer, Brooke moved back to Pittsburgh. And that was 4 years ago now? 4 years ago?
Almost 5.
5 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Nice. So you had moved out to Texas, you came back to visit family for the holidays. Were you guys just like out for drinks and met that way, or just like through mutual friends, or like how did all that go down?
Yeah, so we were out for drinks with my cousin and honestly some of my other family members. He had some friends there. And I think we both kind of knew we were being set up, but it wasn't.
Okay. Nice.
There was, I think Dominic had been secretly trying to get us together for a while leading up to that because he had mentioned him to me prior to coming home, and same with him. And then after that group date, we were on a solo date within the next 2 days.
Yeah, we went on like 3 or 4 dates before you went back. And then that's when the long distance started for a bit. And then she moved back to Pittsburgh. It all kind of sounds like a Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
Right? She was
It does, right? Like the girl from the big city coming back home.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
yeah.
The craziest part is that we grew up like 5 minutes from each other.
No way.
Just had never met at all.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Oh my gosh. So you guys were like living parallel lives this whole time, and then magically during the holidays, Hallmark Christmas movie.
I know.
Joined back together.
Yeah, there were times where we were at like the same parties, and I had even visited a few of his houses that he lived in over the years. Just like when I was hanging out with my cousin, we just never crossed paths. So
wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, small world. And now here you are today, happily married. I love it. Oh my gosh. So Brian, like, I have a question for you. Like, had you known who Brooke was, just given like her background with reality TV and everything? And how was it kind of like dating somebody who had been in the public eye?
Yeah, so I did know who she was.
I feel like if you're from our hometown, it would be hard not to know that Dance Moms is in the surrounding area.
Yeah, like
right. Yeah.
Big area. The show was a pretty big deal.
Right.
And obviously I knew who she was through that. And I actually had seen some episodes. My older sister is a ballet dancer.
Okay.
And, you know, my family growing up, we watched reality TV. So Dance Moms was one of the shows that was like always consistently recorded that, you know, I was able to watch here and there. So yeah, I did know who she was. But yeah, when it first came to dating her, I guess there may have been a little added uncertainty and pressure just because she's in the public eye. But I mean, after the first, couple dates and first few times being with her, that kind of all went out the window and wasn't much of a big deal anymore.
Yeah, he's not big on social media. He has, like 300? My dog has more followers than him.
Yeah.
And he likes it that way. And I feel like the constant me like recording things and whatnot was probably like, wow, I'm not used to this. But we've come a long way.
The first time she ever had me take pictures of her, I didn't even realize this. I guess when you take a picture with the iPhone, or at least one of the old updates, it had a gray screen like on top and at the bottom. So I took a bunch of pictures of her and I showed them to
And
her.
he's telling me, he's like, I got some good ones. Like, I think we got the shot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, great.
And her entire head was cut off. And
I
thought
was
they
like,
were in
what?
every
Oh
picture.
no.
I was like, oh, we have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
So over the years, you've learned how to be a good Instagram husband / boyfriend, and yeah.
Getting better. I'm sure she still wouldn't call me good, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
always improving.
I was
Oh,
with him
yeah.
yesterday filming something, and he's like recording it. I'm like, the whole point is to get the background in it. You're just getting like, we need both. But I think sometimes I just think, because I have an eye for it and I'm so used to it, that he would just automatically know that, and
Right.
not the case.
Yeah, totally. I get that. Oh, that's awesome. So you guys start dating, Brooke, you move back. So what was it like leading up to the proposal? Like, how long had you guys been dating before Brian popped the question?
I always get it wrong.
3 years?
About 3 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Years, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely over 3 years, right?
Yes.
I'm so bad with that kind of stuff.
All good.
Yeah.
We don't need exact numbers, I guess.
Yeah, a little over 3 years. He proposed, what was it, May 4th?
May 4th.
Of 2024. But it was supposed to be the 5th.
Yeah.
You had some.
Oh.
There was a marathon that interrupted his proposal.
Yeah, it was
No.
at a park, and I had all the plans in the works. Everything was in the running, and all of a sudden, actually, my mom reached out to me and was like, that's the day of the Pittsburgh Marathon. And if you looked at the map of the marathon, it was like completely around this park. So there was like no way of getting into it. So I was like, all right, well, we need to make the date then.
Yep.
Oh my God. Okay. So what was the proposal planning like? So had you guys gone ring shopping before this? Did you know like that it was happening?
Yes, I had gone ring shopping in November. We went together, and then I went a second time with my mom and my sister and Melissa, actually, when I was in LA, because we were all together. At the time, my mom was living in Florida, and it was really hard to get us all together, and I wanted their opinions. So we all went together when I was in LA, and I picked out the one that I liked a lot. Actually, I picked out 3 that I really liked, and I sent them to him, and I was like, you pick which one is your favorite. That didn't really last because he was like, that is a lot of pressure. Like, I feel like you like one better than the other 2. And I was like, honestly, you're right. And so we ended up just like narrowing it down to one. And then, yeah, so
Then you passed, it was all basically then passed over to me. Like, she didn't want to be a part of any of the engagement planning or have an idea of when it was going to happen. So her number one thing was to be surprised. Like, that was like the main thing that I had to accomplish, which was a ton of pressure because I feel like I like running stuff like that by you, like when there's going to be some sort of event. But, you know, I used the help of her sister Paige, her mom, my mom to help plan it. And I think another one of her requests was like nothing too flashy or, you know, out of the ordinary when it came to like the actual proposal. So I just picked a nice spot in a park with a nice little backdrop and then had our immediate family waiting about 100 yards away. So after I proposed, they were all there for it. Then we had a little party afterwards, just like a brunch. And then we hung out with family for the rest of the day. But one thing that we had both decided, even before we looked at rings, was the day of the engagement, we wanted to be more just immediate family there. And then the plan was always to have like a larger engagement party, a few months after that she could help plan, which was the route we went down.
Nice. Oh, that's really fun. So did you, Brian, like, how did you get her out to the park that day? Like, were you guys just like, we're going to go on a walk, or is it a normal thing for you guys to hang out at the park?
So they had me so fooled because I told him the one thing I want is a surprise, because you don't get surprises in life. So that was one thing. But with saying that, I kind of was like, there's no way he's going to fool me. Like, I feel like any surprise that's been supposed to happen, like, I've always had a little bit of inkling, but not this time. He worked with his family it was for Mother's Day. It was the week before Mother's Day. And his dad travels a ton for work. And so he texted our like family group chat and was like, hey, I'm going to be out of town next weekend. Any chance you guys can do Mother's Day brunch this day? May 4th. And we were all like, I remember yelling up to Brian saying, "Are we free this day?" Because like everyone started responding yes. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm good." And we said yes. And then he sent over the plan. And I remember I was freaking out because I had ordered a gift for his mom, but it was coming like right in time for Mother's Day. So I remember freaking out about it. And he was like, "Well, let me just text my siblings and make sure that they're not bringing their gifts because we can go see my mom the following weekend. It's just my dad who's going to be out of town." And he like coordinated that group chat. And I remember being like, "I don't believe you. I want to see. Like, I don't want to walk in here empty handed and them all have gifts." He even showed me that he had texted his siblings ahead of time, like, "Hey, I'm about to text you. Just say you're not bringing gifts, that you're bringing them next weekend." So I was like totally caught off guard. And I feel like you can tell that by what I was wearing. I was wearing jeans, my hair was down, which I typically hate having my hair down.
Yeah. Well, that's how I know I did a good job.
My nails, not good. So many things, but I would have rather looked that way than known.
Yeah. Yeah. The one thing her sister told me was maybe if you do notice, her leaving the house in jeans, maybe just say something like you'd want to change. And I saw her getting in the car with jeans. And I had like a split second to decide and say like, all right, do I tell her and, hey, maybe you want to change or not? And
I would have known immediately.
Yeah, I decided not. I was like, we made it this far. I'm pretty sure she has no idea. If I've never insinuated an outfit change. Yeah. The day I would do that, the red flags would have been up and she would have realized something. Well,
I think you guys did throw around the idea of having your sisters text what they were wearing, right?
Yeah.
Because I think someone said like she would know, but I would have not known because I was going back and forth on like, are we going on a walk after brunch? Like, should I be wearing sneakers or should I be wearing like little kitten heels? So if one of them would have said I'm wearing heels with a dress, I would have been like, oh, okay, I'm pivoting. And I wouldn't have known.
Yeah. But, so you guys did the brunch first and then walked around and then...
There was no brunch.
There was no brunch. Okay.
Until after.
Yeah, so there was no Mother's Day celebration. My dad wasn't actually traveling. So I proposed, did pictures with the family. We got that all out of the way. And then we had a separate like family engagement brunch scheduled for afterwards.
Yeah, I think one of the funniest parts to me is that we were supposed to go to this specific cafe that was inside of the park. And I'm pulling up, and I guess the cafe was on like the opposite side of the park or something.
It wasn't even in the park.
It wasn't even in the park. But I am so directionally challenged and like don't ever know where I am that he was like, she'll have no idea that we're not even remotely close to the park. Meanwhile, I already knew what I was ordering. I looked at the menu the night before, but had no idea that it was not anywhere near where we were. Most people I feel like would be aware of that and be like, what are you doing? Like, this is not the place. I had no clue.
That's so good. You got her good, Brian. That's awesome. I love that it was a surprise for you. That's so good.
You did a great job.
Man. All right. So you guys get engaged at the park and then tell us about planning your wedding. Like, were you guys engaged for a full year or what was the timeline on that? And what was the planning process like?
Yeah, we were engaged for over a year and a half, like almost 2 years.
Nice.
And so our first priority was that engagement party that we wanted to do.
Yeah.
So we spent some time planning that. We had that in August.
Yeah.
Mid-August. We had some like trips planned and we knew we didn't want to get married in Pittsburgh. So we also had to like plan a trip to go look at venues. And we ended up choosing a venue in Florida, which is, my mom used to live in Florida and so does my grandparents. So we started looking in Naples, which is where they live, and ended up finding a venue in Fort Myers that we loved. And yeah.
Nice.
And started planning. It took what? How long were we planning? A year after?
A year and like 19 months was from the engagement to the wedding.
Yeah. But I would say once we found the venue, when did we find the venue?
In August, because we went right after we went right after the engagement party.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, that's pretty quick.
Yeah, so once we found the venue, then that's when I was like, okay, we got to start scrolling Pinterest and doing all the things. Yeah, I loved it. I planned a majority of it myself. I'm a very like type A DIY person, but obviously had a lot of help from our vendors too, which was nice. But yeah, I
Yeah,
enjoyed planning the
that's
wedding.
cool. Did you have a wedding planner too that you hired to be on board with
So we
everything?
had a wedding coordinator for the day of.
Oh, nice. Okay.
She was extremely helpful. She was with us for the month
Oh,
leading
that's
up to
great.
it. Yeah, so
Yeah.
she was able to help with coordinating like vendor meals and just a lot of like the setup of my like personal decor that I brought. So we had her, and then we also worked with Birch Event Designs, which helps with like the design of the day. They did our florals and our like rentals. But yeah, in terms of planning, that was me.
Yeah, for sure. So I was looking at your venue and it looked so pretty. It kind of had like Italian sort of like villa vibes to it. Is that like kind of the theme of your wedding and that the feel that you were going for?
Yeah, so I feel like I have always loved all the weddings abroad. But I knew I didn't want to have our guests travel abroad. So when I came across that venue, I was like, oh my God, this looks like Italy in Florida. And it was almost like fate when I realized it came up on my TikTok actually. And
Nice.
it didn't have a name. It didn't have anything other than La Casa Toscana. And then it said, if you want to get married in Italy, but don't want to make your guests travel there. And I'm like, oh my God, it's like they're reading my mind. And when I looked up the venue and it said it was in Fort Myers, which is 30 minutes from my mom's house, I was like, wow, this is meant to be. And I feel like once I saw that, I kind of knew, even though we did a few other tours and I was emailing a million other venues, I think I knew deep down I wanted to get married there. But yeah, I would say the overall feel was like we stuck with a lot of neutral colors. It was like greens, whites, pops of blue. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would necessarily say do you think it was like pretty like Italian Tuscan? Like
I'll be honest, I'm not really
yeah,
sure.
I feel like overall like I wanted the day to be like romantic and like flowy, elegant, simple, but like still well thought out. Like I wanted a lot of like personalized details. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and you can definitely tell that came across in like your photos and video. And yeah, I was actually like looking up your venue because I was like, where is this? And like on their Instagram page, it like didn't even say a location. And then like their handle is like FL at the end of it. And I was like, is it Florence or is it Florida?
Yeah.
Like, and it's so cool because I feel like I couldn't even tell if it was in the States or overseas. So yeah, you're
Exactly.
right. It totally had that feel to it.
Yeah, no, it was
So
a beautiful venue and we loved that everything was in one location. Like it still had a very nice flow. So like when you came in, you didn't know where you were going next for the ceremony, and then once you were in the ceremony, you didn't know where you were going next for the cocktail hour, and then same goes for the reception, but it was all just a few steps away.
Yeah.
So I liked
that's
that
great.
aspect of it.
Yeah. I know that is a big, yeah, deciding factor, I think, for a lot of couples is like the flow of it. Like,
Mhm.
where is front people are going to be in point A to point B to point C throughout the night. And like, how does that feel for everybody? You know, are they
Yeah.
hiking across like a field in their
Yeah.
heels or are they like able
Get
to
a
just do a
car.
few steps? Yeah. So
Yeah.
that does mean a lot. And yeah, that's cool that you guys thought about that and that was the feeling that you got when you toured your venue too. So that's
Mhm.
awesome. All right, so for your wedding day, like, did you incorporate like anything from your dance background like into your wedding day, or did you have like friends from the show or anything like involved in your wedding?
Yeah, in terms of our dance, we actually took a dance class. I forced him by
Cool.
getting it for him for Christmas. I was like, this is the only way he'll do it. He's gonna act like he loves my gift and he's gonna attend happily.
That's good.
Was honestly, I think you are happy we did it
Yeah.
because it's not like we were given specific choreography, which she gave us like a little sequence to include, but it just made us more comfortable because we have such a height difference that I feel like we looked awkward when we were trying to dance. So that was helpful in just not stepping on each other's toes the whole time. But other I wouldn't say I used much of my dance background other than, I guess, on the dance floor later in the night, but the girls were there. Actually, one of my favorite memories from the night was whenever my old song back in the day came on, Summer Love Song, and the girls were my backup singers whenever I
How
recorded it.
fun.
So we all went crazy, and that was a special moment for sure. But there was no special dancing. We were just jumping up and down like crazy.
Yeah. Oh, that's so fun. So that was just on the dance floor. Did you sing it like on a mic at the wedding, or was it like just for everyone to dance to?
No, Mike. We just had the DJ play it, and
That's
I
so
mean, you would have
fun.
thought I had a mic. I was screaming at the top of my lungs. When I look back at some of my reception photos, I am like, oh my God, you can see every vein in my neck popping out. I'm like, oh my God.
That's how you know you had a good time. That's awesome. That's so good. So you said you had like neutrals, pops of blues, and things like that. Can you describe like your dress and your suit, Brian, and maybe some of the bridesmaid dresses and everything that you picked out?
Yeah, I had two dresses. My first dress, I actually went back and forth. Or I guess I didn't go back and forth. I thought I was going to end up with a poofy dress, which a lot of people were like, there's no way, you're so short. Like, I feel like you're going to get a tight dress. And I was only trying on flowy dresses because I tried on a few tight ones and I just wasn't crazy about them. So yeah, I actually went back to this store in Pittsburgh called Bridal Beginning to say yes to this big poofy dress. And the associate I was working with, Amanda, she was great. And I feel like she knew me so well. She was like, I want you to try on this one last dress. And I was like, okay, but I'm looking at it and I'm like, it's not very poofy, which is what I've been liking, but it had that like tight and then mermaid, I guess is what you could call it, with a long train, which is something I knew I wanted, was the long dramatic train. And I tried it on. It was the last dress I tried on, and it ended up being the one I said yes to. And it was from Inez DeSanto was the designer. And it was,
Yeah,
I wanted
gorgeous.
something simple and timeless, but when you looked at it, it gave simple, but if you actually looked closer, there's like this floral pattern on it that's very
Ooh.
subtle. But yeah, it gave the dramatic train. And then my second dress was from Adon Cohen, and it was the polar opposite. It was all stones and pearls. And yeah, so I feel like I got the best of both worlds because I was like, I feel like from my dance background, I want something costumey and fun, but I didn't want that for my ceremony. So doing two dresses allowed me to do that. And it allowed me to be a lot more comfortable during the reception. But yeah,
Yeah.
your tux was.
Yeah, I knew from the beginning I wanted the most straightforward, simple black tuxedo, bow tie. I think the only big decision we had to make was if I was doing suspenders or a vest, and we decided on the suspenders because we were in Florida because it was gonna be warm. Yeah, they were asking me things if I wanted to do like an outfit change or a
He was like,
jacket
absolutely
change, and I
not.
was like, that's not
It's
I
like,
was like,
nope,
let's
straight
consider
up,
it.
simple.
Consider it.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
taking the jacket off midway through the
This is
wedding,
outfit
or
change.
it was my outfit change. So
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
You
That's
tried
so
on
good.
two total tuxedos. And I probably tried on like 100 dresses.
yeah,
Yeah. That's your one
Oh,
time to do it while,
exactly.
while you're engaged, try on as many dresses as you can.
Yeah.
I saw a video on your Instagram where you actually had your bridesmaids and your mom, I think, cutting the tulle on your dress. Like, tell me more about how that came about.
Yes. So it was at my last dress fitting. I tried on my dress for the first time with all my alterations complete. And I was trying to like walk around and I was like, the bottom of my dress is really heavy. Cause like I said, I wanted that dramatic train. So they didn't take anything off with the alterations, which typically they would have. And so I like was practicing dancing with my mom in the bridal shop. And I was like, I don't want to feel uncomfortable. Like, I don't want this to be super heavy. And they were doing the bustle, but bustling it made it even more heavy because I feel like it was like even closer to my body. So I actually was like, what if we cut it after the ceremony? And everyone in the bridal shop looked at me like I was insane.
Like, oh,
Yes,
you
except
wouldn't. Yeah.
well, it was like the seamstress that looked at me that was like, "You can't cut this beautiful dress." And I was like, "And I know, but I would rather be comfortable and living in the moment and not stressed about like hitting people and falling over and him tripping on my dress and all of that." And I said, "My mom has a lot of costume experience. Like she would be more than capable of cutting the tulle." And the way my dress laid, it was a very easy cut, and they ended up like pinning it so it still had that same like way that it like laid on the floor. Like I don't think anyone would have known that they cut it if I wouldn't have posted that they cut it. But yeah, it ultimately just took some of that weight out of it, and that was it.
Right. Yeah. And you're like, you've probably done that for your costumes and things, and
Yeah,
like you said, your
honestly,
mom,
I
like
think it
doing
was
your costumes.
yeah, and I think it was quicker than them bustling it, anyways, because there was
Right. Just take
such a
some
long
scissors.
yeah, such a long train that I'm like, I think it got me to cocktail hour quicker than it would have if they bustled it.
Yeah, there you go. And yeah, then you had more time to enjoy your wedding with your guests and everyone. So, yeah, good call. I mean, you might have started a trend here. I've seen, some brides cutting their hair in between, ceremony and reception. And now it's going to be like, nope, take those scissors and just cut your dress now.
I know. Well, I was
So,
like, it's not like I'm gonna be wearing my dress again, and if anything, it would be something I want to hang on to for my future daughter. But I'm like, we kept all of the fabric, so we can use it to recreate something. Seeing people make robes for their children, or just like little mini dresses, and I'm like, we have plenty of fabric from that train and the whole top part to do that. So
yeah. Totally. It worked out. It looked gorgeous. So good. So, looking back on your day, what were some of the special moments that stick out to you?
I feel like all of it.
Right. It's hard to choose, I bet.
I know. We started our day we actually stayed together the night before, which I know kind of breaks traditional things, but so we woke up that morning and we did our vows privately on our like hotel balcony and watched the sunrise, which was very special. Kind of started out the day in the right way.
We did that final dance together.
Oh yeah, that was special.
Everyone had left the venue more or less, and we did one last dance together, which was nice.
I surprised
I
you.
love that.
Yeah.
I surprised him with he wanted to do a specific song for our first dance, and we ended up agreeing that it was a little too fast paced for us for our first dance. So I ended up surprising him with that for our last dance. Yeah, that was
Oh,
special.
nice.
The dance floor was so much fun the whole night. The ceremony, my aunt officiated us, which was special. I don't There were so many special parts. I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah, that's so good. I mean, so many memorable moments that for you guys to look back on and just like cherish for forever. That's so awesome. Were there any moments during your wedding where you kind of had to improvise or go off script, or maybe where your wedding coordinator had to step in and maybe iron something out?
At the very beginning, or before our ceremony even started, actually before the whole day even started, there was a little bit of a waiting issue because the entrance, we had like a pre-ceremony, and there was going to be like past champagne and like a water station, and like fans were being handed out and stuff, but they like didn't have it fully prepared. So the guests were like starting to arrive, and like none of that was like there. So I started to freak out a little. I think you did too. We were a little like, oh my God, we don't want guests to be like waiting in our shuttles. So I think that was the only little hiccup, but it was easily fixed. And I think we were kind of stressed about nothing.
Yeah, it was definitely first world problems. Instead of standing out in the heat and drinking champagne, they were sitting in an AC
Shuttle.
cooled bus.
Yeah.
So,
But in my eyes, I was like, oh my God, they're not even here. Like, this is their first impression of the day, we're not ready for them and they're here. But in our defense, there was a festival happening the day of our wedding.
Okay.
So we ended up having to have our shuttles leave way earlier than they would have just because of all the road closures and stuff. So we're just lucky that our guests were even able to get there, because there was a time period where we were on the phone with the city of Fort Myers
Wow.
trying to figure out what was going on, because we were told we might not be able to use the roads to get them there on a
Oh
shuttle.
my
So
gosh.
yeah, we're just lucky they
Wow.
Yeah.
I know. Look at you guys dodging all these festivals for the proposal and for your wedding. I
Yeah, that's
Oh
mean,
yeah.
good.
There's a
it's
guy,
all happening. You made a
Brian.
way.
Yeah, there's a guy named Brian who works for the city of Fort Myers at, what is it, the courthouse or something, who definitely hates me because I called him every other week. I'm like, any updates? He's like, no, I will call you. And I'm like, well, you're not calling me is the problem.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That is wild that you had to do all of that extra legwork too because of that festival. I mean, that's something too that couples don't always think about when they're planning their weddings is like, will streets be closed down? And sometimes you don't know because you plan so far ahead and maybe these things don't get planned, before you already booked your venue. And so,
Mhm.
yeah,
Exactly.
definite things to try to consider. And yeah, wow, that's a
Yeah,
lot.
that's what happened to us. The festival was not planned when we booked our venue, because once we found out about it, I was like, we had any day. Like, we booked so far in advance that we could have picked any day, and we just chose this one because there was no sporting events happening and we didn't have anything else going on. And what do you know, the city of Fort Myers had a festival.
Right. Yeah. And you guys got married in February too, right? So it was like I'm sure it was nice for your friends and family to go somewhere warm for your wedding after being in cold Pittsburgh, right?
Yes, we were hoping guests would feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 80% of our guests were coming from cold weather. So
Mhm.
we looked at it as like a little winter warmth getaway as well. And we noticed like a lot of the guests were either coming in a few days early, stayed a few days late, made other trips out of it, going to like Key West after staying in the Fort Myers, Naples area. So I think everyone or a lot of our guests took advantage of the wedding as a reason for a little vacation too.
Yeah, that's cool. Did you guys do like a whole wedding weekend where it was like welcome party, like rehearsal dinner, like after party, that sort of thing too?
Yes, so we did our rehearsal dinner that Friday, and then we met all of our guests at a like local spot that had like a live music and food trucks. So that was fun. And then we obviously went home early to prepare for the next day. But then we actually didn't do like an official after party. We just had people meet us at the hotel rooftop bar, and then we ended up carrying the night over to the spot next door. But yeah, it was,
Nice. I like that. How it's just like, hey, let's meet up here if you want to, like more
uh,
casual for the whole weekend. I really like that
yeah, and
idea.
we had thrown around doing an after party, but just from personal experiences of weddings we have attended, anytime there is something planned, not many people like make it there. They're already exhausted from a long day. So we were like, we don't think we need to do some grand thing, but like, let's at least have an option. And I was surprised by our turnout. We had a lot of people that ended up joining us, which was great. But then as the night kept going on, it would fizzle down a little.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I
Yeah.
forgot to ask you guys, how many people did you have at your wedding?
We had a
160 is
yeah,
the number.
Oh, that's a good number. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, and especially for people traveling too. I think that's a great number.
yeah.
So, yeah, for sure. Last question that I always ask couples on the show is what advice would you give somebody who's planning their wedding now?
I know what my advice
Is
would
yours
be.
weather related?
No, it's not weather related. So that was just one thing I had always stressed about leading up to our wedding was the weather. There wasn't much of a backup plan. Our venue from start to finish was all outside, and the only backup plan was a tent, and everything would be basically in the same spot all day long. So that stressed me out for a full year and a half, just knowing that like there really isn't much of a backup plan.
I think it also stressed him out that I didn't care to think about it, because I was like, we don't need to think about it. Like, we're manifesting bad weather by thinking about it. So we're just only going to deal with it the week of if the radar says that we have to. And we didn't.
Yeah. So it worked out. But
Good.
my advice and what I learned through the whole wedding process was simply, I guess going into it, I thought for some reason that there's this like set structure of like routine you need to follow from start to finish, like beginning of the day until the end of the day. But like as we moved through the vendor process and the wedding planning process, like one thing that continued to be told to us was like from vendors or people we talked to was like, it's your day. Like you can do whatever you want. Like this can be, if you want to have your cocktail hour before the wedding, or if you want to have this there, or
do your vows at a completely different time.
You can do whatever you want. Like it's your day, and you can plan it how you want, start to finish. There's no set rule book of like a certain structure you need to follow. So just like knowing that like we had the availability to, do whatever we wanted and do whatever we were comfortable with. And there wasn't some, hidden rule book that you had to follow like all day long with a certain structure, was real nice to know. And actually that's like the wedding advice I, blindly give to other couples now when we talk to some of our engaged friends. It's like when they're like trying to like decide between something, it's like you can do whatever you want. Like it's your day. The guests will follow the schedule and follow the gist of the day. But like at the end of the day, it's your decision on how it goes and how it flows. And that was something that like I learned and like to pass on to others.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. That's like, yeah, you shouldn't feel pigeonholed into doing one thing just because a friend did it, or just because like that's what you're supposed to do, or like if you don't like cake but you feel like you need to have a cake, like you can scrap it. Like it's cool to just feel that there is a freedom in planning your wedding, but yeah, sometimes it's hard to get to that place too, to be like, well, there's lots of factors to consider where it's like, well, would our guests like that? But we like that. And so, yeah, I think that's great that you guys just kind of like followed your hearts through the whole thing and did what you ultimately wanted to do. And your guests were along for the ride, which was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Do you guys have any final thoughts, any last words about your gorgeous wedding day?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I wish we could go back and relive it one more time.
Yeah, right? Oh my gosh. Yeah, totally. I know your wedding video is so pretty. So,
thank you.
Well, we will go ahead and like post some of your photos that you sent over of your wedding, like on our blog and everything, just so people can see and go check them out on social media, and you can see more and follow Brooke. Maybe give us a last shout out of where people can find you and follow you, where you hang out online.
Yes, I am Brooke Hyland, Hyland on Instagram, and then I'm Brooke Hyland _1 on TikTok.
Nice. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Go give her a follow, and then, you can go back and watch some older episodes of Dance Moms if you want to see her in her dance era. So, yes, this was so fun talking with you guys. Congratulations. Your wedding looked beautiful. Many blessings for the future. And thanks for taking the time to chat with us about your wedding. Appreciate it.
Having us.
Yeah, of course. All right. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
There you have it, another episode of the Wedding Reporter podcast. To see those gorgeous wedding and engagement photos, head over to NashvilleBrideGuide.com for more behind-the-scenes content. And if you like this episode, I would so appreciate it if you would rate and subscribe the show. See you next time for another great episode.